Valentine's Day, not only a time to celebrate love, but a time when online flirting can become a real-life date. Our next guest is a domestic abuse survivor who lived through the nightmare of what can happen if you don't pay attention to warning signs at the very start of a relationship.
Michelle Jewsbury is the founder of a nonprofit group called Unsilenced Voices. She's also the author of a new book titled But I Love Him. Welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you.
You released, it's an autobiography last month, and tell us a bit about why you decided to publicly share your story of living through an abusive relationship. It was for 4 years, right?
Yeah, it was for 4 years. What I've noticed is that if people don't speak up about what's happening, then the cycle continues. And it's a huge worldwide epidemic, and especially with Unsilenced Voices, I've realized that internationally. And I really wanted to share my story so people understand that it's not your fault, that you can get out of it, and that you can have extreme breakthroughs to where you can still live your life even after abuse.
How did you finally get out of this relationship, and then what do you hope other women reading this book, maybe going through the same thing, can take from it?
Well, it's not your fault is the biggest thing that I want to make sure that people understand. I felt compelled that I had to tell my story because my story was just too big not to share. And by using my story, I'm hoping that other women can then break free from what they're experiencing as well. And the book is a little rough, you know, it is an autobiography. It goes into details about the abuse, details about what happened, what he said to me, what he did to me.
Sometimes women will question their inner voice and go, well, that's normal, that's not really, you know, if somebody didn't hit you, they sometimes only think that's abuse, but abuse comes in many forms, right?
Yeah, many, many forms. There's emotional, psychological, financial, and physical abuse. And in the beginning, for me, when he was emotionally and verbally abusing me, I didn't think anything of it. And the first time my head went through the drywall 4 months into the relationship, I didn't even realize it was domestic violence.
But shouldn't, for so many people, I think there's a point of demarcation. And for, I think, a lot of people, maybe I'm mistaken, head through the drywall the first time, that would be it. Yeah, it would be, and it should be. But there's a cycle in domestic violence, and the cycle goes from walking on eggshells to then an extreme blow-up, emotionally, sexually, physically, and then the apology stage happens, and that's what keeps most victims trapped in relationships, is the, I'm so sorry, I love you, I promise I will never do it again, my temper got out of control, please forgive me, I love you so much. And that's what keeps people trapped.
In 2017, you founded Unsilenced Voices. It's a nonprofit. So what are the resources that you offer to folks?
So right now we're located in Ghana and Sierra Leone, Africa, and we have 6 partners between those 2 countries. We have sensitization programs every month, and we are working to build shelters in both the countries for temporary relief. We just partnered with an organization in Nepal, and we're looking to expand to the Los Angeles area. So I'm working with attorneys here locally, so we can provide pro bono legal assistance to survivors of domestic violence here.
You also have some important tips, because I'm sure you noticed them, and now looking back, there were red flags when you started dating someone who became abusive.
Yeah.
What are some things that people need to look out for if they're just getting into a relationship?
Well, just getting into a relationship, say you're going on your first date. Don't let that person pick you up at your house. Meet them in a public place. Make sure you tell your friends and family where you're going and who you're going with. Once you're involved in that relationship, really pay attention to how he or she speaks to you, speaks to the waiter or waitresses, the people around you. Because sometimes if they're taking too much control, they're too possessive, then it really, that's the road to domestic violence. And there's a lot of red flags to look for, including that, including the emotional comments. In the beginning of my relationship, he was very, I love you, you're amazing, I love what you're doing, and then those praises turn drastically into insults. You know, you're stupid, you shouldn't be doing that, what are you doing with your life? Wow. So really pay attention to the words that are said.
All right, you can meet Michelle Jewsbury at a launch party and book signing happening this evening at the District by Hana on West 3rd Street in Beverly Hills. You also can follow Michelle on Twitter and check out her website right there. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you very much.